Alright guys, today I'm actually on a variety of lawn that I never thought that I would do anything with, because as you guys know, I'm not the hugest fan of Kikuyu, but it has its place and some people like it. And today I think it's about time that I bring some Kikuyu content into the channel. Now, about a week or two ago, a mate of mine, Pete.
G'day.
G'day everybody, he's virgin on the camera.
How he's going?
He's going all right. So Pete came to me the other day and he's like, I'm having some struggles with the lawn at the back. Can you come and have a look? I'm worried that I'm getting bugs again. So a little bit of insight into that was last season, Pete got smashed with armyworm and we put down some acelepryn and we conquered them. So basically what's happened here now is his lawn started to go a little bit off and he's a little bit concerned that he might have had bugs again. So today, we're gonna have a little look around, see if we can see any signs of bugs or see what potentially is going on this lawn, and we're going to give it a rescue. We're going to bring it back to its former glory, because you used to get a fair few compliments about your lawn, didn't you?
Yes, certainly did.
Certainly did. So, Pete, run us through, mate. What's been happening?
So basically, pre-Christmas, we were watering 2 to 3 times a week. The lawn was looking great.
Yep.
You know, everything was green, no patches of dead or anything like that. Went away for the 2 weeks or whatever over Christmas and come back. Obviously it was dry because we were away. We thought we just need to smash it with water.
Yep.
And 4 weeks later, it's still basically the same as what it was when we came.
Right, yeah. So when we have a look around here, guys, we'll have a little look around here and we can see what Peter's talking about. We've got some pretty thin sort of areas here. Over here, it's a little bit ordinary. Around the side of the shed here, and sort of in this area here too. Like we looked down. So the first thing I did was I came down and had a look down and I couldn't see any grub activity. And right away, I sort of questioned, I sort of thought to myself, I thought, well, this is really looking like dry spot to me. But as Pete said, he had been watering quite frequently until the lead up to his holiday. And he came back and his lawn was looking not real good. So I said to Pete, Pete, what have you been watering with? And this is an interesting one because I come up against this quite a few times, and you guys run the Wobble T sprinklers.
Yeah.
Show us the sprinklers you got, mate. Righto, so what we've got here, let me do it this way. What we've got here is a Wobble T kind of sprinkler. Now, these guys are not a fantastic sprinkler when it comes to irrigating a yard, because it takes a long time to put the right amount of water out. So what I'm seeing here is, mate, when we look across at this lawn here, what I'm seeing is, because how long were you putting that on for roughly?
Probably about half an hour each spot.
So half an hour with a Wobble T is not putting out nearly enough water at all.
Okay.
So what we probably need to be looking at is something that's going to put out a little bit more water. Now, what I did actually do was I did actually say to Pete, grab hold of what I call the button sprinklers. So they're a little steel or metallic kind of sprinkler from Pope. Yep. And they put out a heap more water. So you actually bought one of those yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
And turns out, I learned something this morning, that they now make one, we think, that sprays in a square pattern. And that's the one that you got.
Yes.
Which is ideal for a yard like this, because it's sort of a square edge kind of yard. So rather than doing a circle spray, the sprinkler that Pete's gone and purchased, it's going to do square, so that's ideal. I didn't even know that existed, so happy days. So once again, Wobble Tees, if you're going to use them, you have to leave them running for nearly most of the day to get the right amount of water out. Yeah, they throw a huge, big, wide distance, but they don't put out the amount of water, and that's where we're at today. Okay, so today, to correct all this sort of stuff, I'm going to scarify this lawn. Now, we're not going to do a traditional scarify where we go down to dirt and we do all this sort of stuff. I merely want to achieve 2 things out of this. Number one, I want to rake out all this dead material. So when we look over here, for example, as we looked at before, I want to get that machine through here to scratch out that material there. And the other part of the equation is I want to be able to just put a few nicks and cuts in this lawn to encourage some more growth points. Now, because this lawn is traditionally mown on the longer side of life, which is fine, once it starts to thin out like it is, we need to start kicking it back into some more horizontal growth. Then these guys can start bringing their lawn up again to that longer, heighter cut that they prefer. So I'm going to give Pete a turn on the 46, the Scarifier, and this will be a new experience for him. And then when things go south, he can deal with Kyle's.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome, mate.
Appreciate it.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for. So, all right, well, let's hook in. Let's start thinning this out, pulling up some of the dead material, and from there, we'll give it a shorter haircut. As I said, we're not going to go down, down, down. We'll probably go down to setting 3 or 2, somewhere like that. We'll give it a good feed with a good quality fertilizer, and we'll probably chuck down some soil amendments and some soil wetter just to help the water best penetrate into the ground here. We'll set Pete up with a watering program, and we'll come back in a few weeks' time once we've done this and see how the progress is. All right, so this, you guys know exactly what this is, but you probably haven't seen this before, and I'm going to put you behind it.
Haven't.
Okay,
Yes.
so basically what's going on here, Pete, is we've got a series of vertical blades. Okay, so these are going to act for you today. They're going to act like a bit of a power rake, if you will. They're going to bite into your turf surface here, and they're going to dredge up all this stuff. And along the way, it will thin out some of your grass as well.
Yep.
And I think you'll be amazed at what we're going to pull out of this thing. So really handy sort of tool that professionals use.
Yep.
And yeah, it's really going to thin out this stuff here, pull out all this dead material, and open the top of the soil back up so we can get some nutrients back down into the ground.
So it acts like an aerator.
Doesn't really act
point.
like an aerator as such, because it's only scratching the stuff out of the top of the surface. But what it will do, it will allow more air movement within the top of the grass or within the canopy,
Yep.
but it won't actually penetrate into the ground as maybe a core aeration would, where you get left with a hole in the ground.
Yep.
It's not going to do that,
Okay.
but it will thin out and allow good airflow and ventilation in amongst all this leaf. So you're sort of right in a way.
Yep.
So yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
So as you can see, as normal, it looks a lot worse than it is. We're bringing up all that dead stuff. It's looking really, really good. You can see here, we are thinning it right out, but we have set out to remove the dead stuff, and that's what we've done. As you can see, most of that dead stuff has now been lifted out, and this is really going to bounce back really, really well. So 2 to 3 weeks, should see a massive improvement. So first lap over now, and things are looking pretty good. Haven't seen that much thatch and garbage come out of a lawn in a long, long time. So this particular yard will really, really benefit from what we're doing today. Pete's, as I said, Pete's going over it now. The second time, you'll come across this way. We'll pick it up again. Then we'll do a shorter cut. We'll move on to fertilising and soil amending and watering finally. Okay, so we've been over it 2 different directions now, and what do you reckon?
It's amazing.
It is.
I can't believe how much stuff has come out.
Check it out. Like, this is all pretty much dead material.
Yep.
That we've got out of here. So obviously now final step for us now, we're going to drop the mowers down a little bit. We're not going to go silly low, just going to drop them down to, I'll have a play around, I think maybe 5, maybe setting 5, give or take.
Yep.
We'll have a little see how that looks, and we'll just clean up this last bit. But yeah, by the time we get a bit of water, a bit of food on this, in a week's, 2 weeks time, it's going to be a whole different kettle of fish here. It's going to look amazing. Righto, so that's come up pretty well. Pretty happy with the way that's come out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to some soil improvement here. So I'm going to chuck out some soil wetting agent. That's basically just going to help the water that we put down penetrate into this drier ground. So we'll chuck in some of that. We'll also chuck in some Quantum H, which is a humic acid, and what that's going to do is it's going to help to feed the soil microbes, improve soil health, etc. We'll chuck in a bit of Stimulizer. Once again, it's a super concentrated biostimulant. And finally, we'll throw in a bit of Seaweed Secrets too, which is our seaweed solution. And it's just going to help the grass deal with the stress that we've just put it through, and finish off with a granular feed. So I'll mix this stuff up now. We'll chuck it out in the backpack sprayer, and we'll move on to the granular feed. So final step before we start to irrigate now, chuck out some complete granular fertilizer. So today I'm going to go with the Plant Doctor Champion Lawn and Greens grade fertilizer. Now, again, I've been using this product at home for quite some time and having really, really good results. So I'm going to use it here, should give us a nice little kick on, get some colour back into this Kikuyu as quick as possible. So we'll chuck it out now, and then we'll try that new square poke sprinkler. Righto guys, well that's pretty much the complex stuff, or the hard work out of the way. From here on in now, mate, it's over to you. So what I'd probably encourage is some deeper irrigation than what you're doing before with the little wobble T-like sprinkler. Yep. So we've got one of these ones now. Yep. These guys are really inexpensive and they are just reliable. Unless you hit it with the mower, you'll never have to replace it. Now, watering and so forth like that, to get this back looking good again, we're going to have to look at probably watering twice a week, and we're going to look to put down about 12 millimeters of irrigation at each time. Now, best way to work that out is to grab one of these little rain gauges on a spike, stick him in the ground under the sprinkler, and just time how long it takes. So I've actually marked this one here at 12 mil. Yep. So we're going to do 12 mil today and 12 mil in 3 or 4 days time. We're going to do 12 mils twice a week. So we're getting about that inch of rain, or equivalent of inch of rain, yep, on this area going forward, and you will see in the coming weeks a dramatic improvement. So we'll check back in with you. We'll come back in a couple of weeks and we'll see how the turnaround's going, because I'm sure you guys at home are very keen to see the turnaround on this lawn. And
so am I.
So are you. This
And so
will
is my wife.
this will hinge on whether 40 here sleeps on the couch or back in his bed. So no pressure.
Please.
Please. The watering's up to you, mate.
Right.
I've done this stuff here. I'll hand it over to you. Thanks for having us, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank
Anyway,
you.
you guys have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time on the Aussie Lawn.
Hooroo.